I am Dr. Larry Hatcher of the Psych Department here at SVSU. This is Psych 302, Computer Applications and Data Analysis, and I am going to go over our course syllabus in this video. As you can see, I've opened up the syllabus for our online asynchronous section. If you want to have the syllabus open while I'm going over it, you can find it in our Canvas course. This is what our course looks like in Canvas. You folks are the Psych 30290 asynchronous section. The welcome page looks like this. You would select modules from the menu on the left, and it would take you to the modules for our course, and the syllabus that I'm going to go over is in module for Unit 0, Syllabus and Course Orientation. Click the link to open the page headed Course Syllabus and Schedule. And we have two links there. The top link opens up the Word version of the syllabus. Bottom link opens up the PDF, but the two syllabi are identical. That is where you find it. And when you open it up, it looks like this. Needless to say, I'm not going to go over everything in the course syllabus, but I'm going to go over the high points to give you a sense of how this course is going to go and what the most important policies are. First of all, on page 1, we have a section required text. There is no required text in this course that you need to purchase from the bookstore or anywhere. Instead, the course will be based on a large number of lecture notes, exercises, and other handouts that I'll make available to you for free as PDFs, which you'll download from Canvas modules that we just looked at a second ago. For a given class meeting, please do open the PDF and have it available on your computer as you're watching the video related to that lecture or related to that exercise. Purpose of this course is to teach you how to do statistical analyses. In this course, you're going to learn how to use an application called Jamovi. I'm a big fan of Jamovi because it is free. It is open source. You can use it while you're here at SVSU, and you can continue to use it after you've graduated from SVSU if you're in a graduate program or in a course elsewhere. Unlike some applications we have used in teaching this class like SPSS, Jamovi is free and you'll be able to use it after you've left SVSU. Technology and computer-related skills you'll need. I'm toward the bottom of page 1 now. Most of these are going to be things you're already familiar with. For example, we will use Canvas a lot. It's an online learning management system. You don't have to install it on your computer. If you are new to Canvas, click this link to go to the Canvas student guides, and you can learn about how to use it. These are the tools within Canvas that we're particularly likely to use. Still talking about applications, technology you'll need. You'll need to be able to use Adobe Acrobat Reader. Often you'll need an app that's capable of opening PDFs because I'm going to give you a lot of PDFs. You can use any app you like, but I recommend Adobe Acrobat Reader because it's free. You can use this link to get to the place where you can download it for free. I recommend using Microsoft Word or any acceptable word processing app. In addition to Reader, you'll often need a word processing app that you can use to open Word docs that I'll make available. And you also need to be able to save documents as either Word documents or as PDFs or as RTF files. RTF just means rich text format files. Just about any popular word processing application can do this. If you don't have any strong preferences, I recommend using Microsoft Word. As a student at SVSU, you can use it for free. This is the link that will take to the place that shows you how to download it. Jamovi is the statistical application I alluded to a minute ago. Free statistical application that we'll use each week. You can either use a cloud-based version or you can install it on your own personal computer. It can be installed on Windows computers, Macs, but not iPads. It can be installed on Chromebooks and Linux computers. During our first class meeting or during the first video session that you watch with me toward the beginning of the semester, I'll discuss the pros and cons of installing Jamovi on your own personal computer versus using the cloud-based version. So you can wait until then to make a decision as to whether you'll install it. I will give you the short version. I recommend installing it. You can get by with the cloud-based version, but the cloud-based version has some disadvantages you'll learn about later. You'll do better to just install it on your device. We're still talking about apps that you will use. You may or may not need to use Microsoft Teams. Most students in this class won't need to use Teams, but I wanted you to know that I tentatively plan to have video chats with students who want to meet with me on an individual basis outside class and are unable to see me in person in my office. If you want to have a video chat with me, I plan to use Microsoft Teams for that purpose. Now, for what it's worth, I will have regular office hours. You can come and see me in person live if you prefer. But if you have to do it online, I plan to use Microsoft Teams for that purpose. Getting help with tech-related problems. Most of you already know the places that you can go to get help with tech problems. Here I give you the phone number and a link, the various ways you can contact the SVSU IT support people. Tentative plans for teaching this course. I'm going to divide our semester into 15 units with 1 unit per week. Most of these units will focus on one of the statistical procedures we'll cover, something like the independent samples t-test. Because our class is online and asynchronous, it doesn't really have a day or a time that we meet. However, in order to give us some structure, I want us to think of our class as being one that meets on Wednesdays. The reasons for this will become clear later. Needless to say, we're not really going to meet, but we're going to pretend that we meet on Wednesday mornings. Reviewing the Canvas module. Tentative course schedule, which appears near the end of the syllabus, indicates specific date when we'll begin a given unit. This start date will always be a Wednesday. No later than 8:30 a.m. on that Wednesday morning, I'll publish the Canvas module that provides lecture notes, exercise, and video that you need for that unit. At that time, or anytime within the next few days, you can log into our course in Canvas, review the documents, watch the video provided there. In the module, you'll typically find 3 or 4 items. There'll be a lecture notes handout. That'll be a copy of my lecture notes for the unit. In the typical set of lecture notes, I'll describe some statistical procedures such as ANOVA. I'll show you how to use Jamovi to perform the analysis. I'll show you how to interpret the results that are generated by Jamovi, and I'll show you how to write up the results in correct APA style. That's American Psychological Association style, something that'll be important in this course and in a bunch of courses you take as psych majors or psych minors. There'll be a Jamovi exercise. This is an exercise handout that directs you to use Jamovi to perform some specific statistical analysis. Exercise handout will also include a short study guide that'll help you prepare for the multiple choice quiz related to that exercise. There'll be a video covering the lecture notes in that Jamovi exercise. This will be a video in which I go over the highlights of the lecture notes in the exercise described above. For some units, I might give you a separate video on the lecture versus a separate video on the exercise. And for some units, I might just have one video where I cover both the lecture as well as the exercise. So we're talking about the steps and what you'll do in a typical week. You'll begin by reviewing the relevant Canvas module. Then you'll complete the Jamovi exercise. Complete Jamovi exercise described above. Toward the end of the exercise handout, you'll find a kind of study guide that'll ask questions along the following lines. What results did you obtain in your analysis? What do those results mean? What's the correct format for summarizing those results in APA style? You don't have to actually type up any answers to the questions in the study guide, and you don't need to turn in anything related to the study guide. It is included in the exercise merely to help you prepare for the multiple choice quiz that you will complete. That's the third item in our list of tasks that you'll go through. Taking the multiple choice quiz. At 8:30 a.m. on the same Wednesday that the unit begins, I'll publish a 20-point multiple choice quiz in Canvas Quizzes. At any time you like during the next 7 days, you'll take this quiz to demonstrate that you've obtained correct results from your analysis. You're able to correctly interpret the results of that analysis. You know the correct format for summarizing your results in APA style. These quizzes will be short, typically 5 to 10 multiple choice items. You'll probably find them easy if you've used my study guide on the exercise handout to prepare for them. These quizzes will be open book and open note, although you must not receive help from anybody else as you take them. You'll complete the quiz for a given unit anytime you like. as long as you do it prior to the deadline to be described below. We're still talking about things that you do. Where am I? I'm on page 4, toward the top of page 4. Uploading your Jamovi exercise. After completing the multiple choice quiz, you'll upload your completed Jamovi exercise and Canvas assignments. I'll later grade them, and each of these uploads will be worth 10 points. Deadline, you'll have 1 full week to complete all these activities. Canvas quiz for a given unit will be published 8:30 a.m. on Wednesday of the week for which the relative unit is scheduled, and you may take it anytime you like during the next 7 days. Deadline for taking the multiple choice quiz and the deadline for uploading your Jamovi exercise will be 11:59 p.m. on Wednesday, 1 week after the Wednesday that we began the unit. That is what a typical week is going to look like. That's what a typical unit is going to be like. Well, what if you miss something? What happens if you miss a multiple choice quiz? During the semester, I plan to administer about 10 quizzes. For students who miss a multiple choice quiz, my policy is drop 2, make up none. I don't make a distinction between excused versus unexcused absences, so if you fail to take a quiz by the deadline, you'll be given a score of 0 on it regardless of your reasons, so please don't ask me to reopen it if you miss the deadline. However, at the end of the semester, I will drop your 2 lowest quizzes. What happens if I fail to upload an exercise by the deadline? Same policy. During the semester, I plan to assign 10 Jamovi exercises. Students who failed to upload an exercise by the deadline, I will drop 2 and make up none. Again, I don't ask for any documentation or evidence. I don't make a distinction between excused versus unexcused. You'll get a 0 on anything that you don't upload by the deadline, but at the end of the semester, I will drop your 2 lowest. And that means you can miss 2 and it's not going to kill you. Is there extra credit in this class? The answer is yes. During the last week of the semester, you'll have the option of reading lecture notes on chapter 070, the chi-square test for independent samples, and complete the related Jamovi exercise. And you can get extra credit points for those, but we will worry about them toward the end of the semester. Tentative point value of quizzes, etc. I'm on page 5 now, top of page 5. This is going to be things you've already heard, but I just kind of put it in tabular form. What's involved in this course? Required multiple choice quizzes worth 20 points each. I plan to administer 10 and drop your 2 lowest ones, and this results in 8 quizzes for 160 required points in that category. Jamovi exercises, I plan to assign 10 Jamovi exercises and drop 2. That results in 8 exercises and 80 points. Then we have this optional extra credit stuff toward the end of the semester, and we'll worry about that when the time comes. Basis for assigning grades. At the end of the semester, I'll add together all the points you've earned on all quizzes and exercises. I'll divide by the number of points that were possible on the required assignments and compute a percentage and use these cutoffs. You need 93% to get an A, 93% to get an A, 90% to get an A minus, 87% to get a B plus, and so forth. We go to page 6, university closings and delays of quizzes. It's kind of hard for me to imagine how university closing due to snow would affect our online asynchronous course, but if anything like that does happen, such that I think it's unreasonable for you to continue on schedule and upload exercises and such, I'll send an email to everybody announcing how I plan to handle things. Extra credit, negotiating higher grades at the end of the semester. Please don't try to negotiate higher grade at the end of the semester. Other than the extra credit that I mentioned a minute ago, your grade will be based on the points that you earn. Academic dishonesty, where am I? I'm on page 6, about halfway down page 6. An active academic dishonesty in this course will result in a grade of 0 on the quiz or project involved on the first offense, grade of F for the course on the second offense. I'll also file a report with the appropriate SVSU office that tracks academic dishonesty. Academic dishonesty includes giving or receiving information regarding a quiz, looking at another quiz during a quiz session, stealing quizzes, turning in a project you did not actually complete. When working on Jamovi exercises, you're allowed to receive a small amount of help from your fellow students when you're stuck while doing an exercise. However, you're not allowed to copy large sections of work from your fellow students, and you're not allowed to turn in another student's work as your own. Students who violate this policy, either by giving or receiving more than a small amount of help, will be given a grade of 0 on the exercise or quiz on the first incident and given a grade of F for the course on the second incident. Noise and behavior in class. Somehow I can't imagine how that would wind up being an issue in our online asynchronous class. I have a bunch of additional policies here which are important. Correcting grades that I've recorded incorrectly. Students that need accommodations, I'm happy to provide accommodations. You can read about the policy here. Affirmative action statement, Title IX statement, using me as a resource. Psych-related organizations and social media. Let's scroll down to the most important 2 pages in this document. I'm now on page 9, at the top of page 9. Psych 302, tentative course schedule for our semester. As you can see, I have divided our semester into 15 units, and I labeled the units here. Unit 1 begins on January 17. What happens during Unit 1? Lecture, there is none. I don't really have a lecture for a Unit 1. Unit 1 is actually all about you completing Jamovi exercise 01001, installing and using Jamovi. This will be the exercise in which you work through a tutorial I have, install Jamovi on your device, or learn how to use it on the cloud. Complete a bunch of tasks, and by the end of that exercise, you'll know the basics of using Jamovi. How many exercise pages are there? About 39. So you'll do everything on pages 1 through 39. And by the way, I should say something about these page numbers. It might appear to you that these page numbers for some of these exercises look excessive, but when you open up the exercise, you'll see that they have a lot of pictures in them. They have a lot of screen captures in them. In the column headed is an exercise upload required. If I've got a red yes here, that means yes, there's an exercise you need to upload in Canvas assignments for this unit. There's column headed multiple choice quiz. If there's a green no like this, it means there is no multiple choice quiz for that unit, but you'll see that for most units there are red yeses, and a red yes means there is a multiple choice quiz that you'll need to complete as part of the unit. So you'll see that I have divided our semester into 15 units corresponding to the 15 weeks that we actually meet all the way through final exam session. Final exam session, there's not going to be a comprehensive final exam everybody needs to take. Instead, our final exam session will be the finish up session for the students that choose to do my extra credit exercise 070 on chi-square. These folks will get started with that extra credit exercise during the last week of regular classes. They'll wrap it up during finals week. That's the only thing we're doing during finals week, and students don't need to attend that final exam session if they're not doing this chi-square test. And needless to say, there is no real session. I'm just saying that that's something you don't need to worry about at all if you don't plan on doing the extra credit thing toward the end of the semester. And end of syllabus. So this is Psych 302, Computer Applications in Data Analysis. I'm very much looking forward to teaching this course. Next thing for you to do is take a look in the Canvas module you're in right now and see what the instructions there tell you to open up and what video they tell you to watch. That'll be the next thing you'll do as part of this first week of classes.